All right, I'm going to tell you guys the stories of a guy named Oedipus. It was originally written by a guy named Sophocles. It's been redone a couple other times with a few kind of alternate endings and twists, but that's the version I think we're going to roll with. So to start it off, there's a wandering Phoenician prince. Remember, the Phoenicians are one of the earliest people of Mesopotamia, and they like to travel. So now here they are in Greece, and a guy named Prince Cadmus, through a myth of his own, founds the city of Thebes. He ends up following a cow, slays a dragon. Yeah, you're starting to realize how weird Greek mythology is, but that's how he does it, and he founds the city of Thebes. So Thebes is important. Remember Thebes. So Cadmus's family rules as king for a while, until one day the Oracle of Delphi tells a new king, King Liest, that one day he will die at the hands of his own son. So the same way that Kronos was told he would die at the hands of his own son, Liest is told the same thing, but he has a plan, because apparently he's smarter than Kronos, who ate his kids. He does it simply. He says, "Oh, it's fine. I'll just never have sex with my beautiful wife, Queen Jocasta." Okay? So if I'll just lock her up. That's like a chastity belt. Lock her up, then I can't have sex with her. He doesn't actually lock her up, but it's just a joke. But one night, Liest gets a little too drunk. And with a beautiful wife, he just can't resist any longer. So he has sex with her. And as sometimes happens in an ancient world without condoms, a baby is born. Oh, so cute. But Liest still has a plan. Okay, so what he does, Liest, he tells a shepherd, says, "Take this child, put a pin through his feet, and send him into the wilderness, and we'll just let him die, and I don't have to worry about this prophecy anymore." Okay, so pin, the same way that Jesus had his feet pinned to the cross, is the way Liest wants his son's feet pinned. Okay, so imagine you're the shepherd. King Liest tells you to do it. What would you do? Well, you'd probably do exactly what the shepherd did. You'd say, "Okay, I'll do it," but you don't actually do it. So the shepherd takes the baby away and gives him over to another kingdom, a kingdom of Corinth, where the king of Corinth doesn't have a son, so this baby will be raised by the king of Corinth. The king of Corinth gives the baby the name Oedipus, or swollen foot, as a result of his ankles, which have had a pin put through them. So it's like a permanent scar that you're not just going to forget about. It's not going to go away with age. So they name him Swollen Foot as a result of his injury. Just in case you're wondering, this story comes around about 450 years before the story of Jesus. So 20 years pass. 20 years in the future. Okay? No, screwed that up. Oedipus has raised a happy child. He's very happy. Everything's cool. Until one day, one of his friends gets drunk and tells him, you're totally adopted, man. Totally adopted. Oedipus, understandably, is upset and goes to the Oracle of Delphi to find out the truth. As you've seen for about 2 seconds, because it's sitting there. The Oracle refuses to answer the question, but instead tells him, now this is his prophecy, that he is destined to kill his father and marry his mother. Well, that's not a very, that's not a very good prophecy to have. But Oedipus still doesn't know who his father is, but he decides that he's going to leave Corinth. Why? Because he still thinks the king of Corinth is actually his father. And so he doesn't want to kill his father. The best way not to kill your dad is to not be around your dad. So he leaves. Randomly, he decides to go to Thebes, where he actually was born, but doesn't know that. So on his way to Thebes, he almost gets ran over by people on a chariot. They're driving a chariot in a hurry. They don't really see Oedipus walking, and they kind of almost hit him. He kind of gets really pissed off because he's already in a bad mood. And he kills all of them, except for one little servant who runs away. He kills them all, says screw it, and he keeps walking to Thebes. Okay, remember that. So there's just a picture of, not really a picture, a sculpture of Oedipus pulling the people off the chariot and killing them since they almost ran him over. So he arrives at Thebes, and he finds out there's a Sphinx, just like the one in Egypt, but a real one, not a sculpture, ravaging the city and eating the locals. Anybody that wants to go to Thebes, the Sphinx just eats. So, previously, King Liest had left the city to go ask an oracle how to get rid of the Sphinx. So King Liest isn't there anymore, he just left. In the meantime, the king's advisor says he's so fed up with the Sphinx, he says that anybody who can get rid of this Sphinx can have the hand of Queen Jocasta. Even though King Liest isn't dead, he's just left for a little bit. The king's advisor still says, I don't care, who can ever get rid of this Sphinx can marry Queen Jocasta and be king. Okay? So that's the promise. Oedipus arrives and the Sphinx gives him a riddle. If she solves the riddle, he lives. If he fails, he gets eaten. So there's a picture of Oedipus and the little Sphinx. The Sphinx kind of looks kind of cute, but whatever. So the riddle is, now you guys have 10 seconds to figure this out. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at midday or the afternoon, and 3 in the evening? Okay, I'll give you 15 seconds. Do 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 do. Anybody? Answers? Answers? No? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. So, the Oedipus says, a man. In the morning of his life, we are babies. We crawl on 4 legs. In our midlife, so the midday, we walk on 2. And in the night of our life, or the end of our life, we walk on 3 legs with a cane. So that's the solution to the riddle. Oedipus figures this out. The Sphinx is shocked, says, oh my god, I can't believe you figured out my riddle, jumps to her death, commits suicide. As promised, Oedipus marries the Queen Jocasta and becomes the king of Thebes. They have 4 kids together. So as you know, who is Oedipus's mommy? Queen Jocasta. Who is now Oedipus's wife? Queen Jocasta. Who has Oedipus had 4 kids with? Queen Jocasta. So he's had 4 kids with his mother and has no idea. Neither of them know. Queen Jocasta thinks that her son is dead, and Oedipus thinks that the king of Corinth is still his father. So, all of a sudden a plague spreads all over the city. Sacrifices are made to all the gods. Remember that usually when something bad happens, it's because people have stopped worshiping the gods. So they sacrifice and worship the gods, but still nothing changes. So they go to the oracle, and the oracle tells them that the cause of the plague is because you've let the murderer of the previous king Liest live amongst them. So whoever murdered King Liest, you just let them live in your city, and you haven't done anything about it. Okay? King Liest was last seen leaving Thebes on a chariot to go seek help to get rid of the Sphinx when he was murdered on the way. I hope you're putting the pieces together now. Okay? Oedipus still doesn't know. A seer says, Oedipus, I don't want to tell you this news, but if you really want to know, I'll tell you. So a seer is like a prophet, or they can kind of see the future, and they're very wise. They know certain things. So the seer tells Oedipus that, Oedipus, it was you who killed the king. Oedipus says, this is BS, you're a liar, get out of my city, how dare you say that I killed the previous king, I never even met the guy. So news arrives from Corinth, that the king of Corinth has died. Oedipus is sad, but he's also happy, yes, I didn't kill my dad, so this prophecy of killing my father and marrying his mother has not come true. He thinks, no, I'm fine, the prophecy didn't come true, I'm married to a beautiful Queen Jocasta, my real father, king of Corinth, is dead, and I didn't kill him, so this prophecy must have been fake. But the messenger who Oedipus is telling this, so Oedipus is saying this out loud, yes, the prophecy is not true, I didn't kill my father. The messenger says, Oedipus, king of Corinth was not your real father. I was the messenger who took you from a shepherd a long time ago. Sorry I never told you, but yeah, the king of Corinth is not your father. Oedipus is shocked, and he demands that the shepherd be brought to him. So the shepherd comes and says, yeah, King Liest gave his son to me, told me to pierce his ankles together and leave him to die. But I couldn't do it. But if he lives, then he will surely still have the scar on his ankles. Well, Oedipus looks down at his ankles and sees that there's a nasty scar right through both of his ankles and realizes that he is, in fact, the son of King Liest. Okay, so Oedipus knows, oh my God, I'm the son of King Liest. Then the lone survivor of King Liest's entourage, who had been attacked on the way to the oracle, comes forward and gives details on how one man had slayed the king and his company on his chariot, and says that, yes, that one man was Oedipus. So now Oedipus says, oh, you mean those random people who almost ran me over on the way here? That was the king? Yes, it was the king, and Oedipus killed him, and therefore killed his father. Oedipus stands in horror, realizing that he, as predicted by the prophecy, has in fact married his mother, had 4 kids with her, and killed his real father. Equally as devastated, Queen Jocasta, who realized that she's just slept with her son and had 4 kids, is so devastated that she goes into her bedchamber and hangs herself from the roof. Oedipus goes to the bedchamber, sees his mom and wife hanging there, and is so horrified he takes 2 pins off her dress, sticks them in his eyeballs, and plucks out his own eyes. Oedipus goes on to do a couple more things, but he pretty much goes and lives his life as a beggar for the rest of his life. So one of the things on your sheet is, what was the tragedy in this story? Same thing with the other people who are doing the Argonautica are looking at. It's a very tragic life for these heroes. Okay? So like a Shakespearean tragedy, you have the Greek tragedies. And that's how this one ends, with Oedipus being an eyeless, homeless beggar. Okay? If you guys have time, Google Oedipus complex. It's a major psychology thing, and the Oedipus complex is named after this story. Okay?